Good afternoon. We have breaking news out of the United States where Donald Trump has tested positive to COVID-19. Charles Croucher joins me in studio this afternoon. Charles, the US president has confirmed this just in the last couple of minutes on Twitter.
This all played out on Twitter. Donald Trump said that he was being tested. His close aide, Hope Hicks, someone who's been close to the Trump administration and close to his daughter Ivanka for a long time, had tested positive earlier today. The president tweeting just a moment ago that this test had come back. He said, "Tonight, FLOTUS, that is the First Lady, Melania Trump, and I tested positive for COVID-19. We will begin our quarantine and recovery process immediately, and we will get through this together."
Charles, this raises so many questions. The president was in Minnesota yesterday. He, of course, was at the debate earlier in the week. He got very close to Joe Biden. All of these questions, they didn't shake hands.
No.
We know that, but they were in the same room for a pretty long amount of time.
They were distant and deliberately didn't shake hands, but there are so many people that the president has shaken hands with. Obviously, everyone on his team. There are a lot of people that travel on Air Force One. The president was in a closed-off donor meeting today, so those people will now be under suspicion as well. And then as for the next debate, that's due in 2 weeks' time. There seems to be no way that can go ahead now, so this completely throws the election campaign out. I mean, first and foremost, the president has to get through this along with the First Lady and then recover, and then what happens for the next 33 days until the election. This is a huge, we often speak of October surprises. I can't think of a bigger one than this.
Certainly is, and just how affected he gets by this virus. I mean, he's in his 70s, he's not a young man. Does Joe Biden now suspend his campaign as an act of good faith?
It's certainly an option. It's happened in the past when people have gotten ill during the campaign. The other candidate has done it. So that's something that will all play out of the next few days. Donald Trump was meant to be in Florida for a series of rallies, I think in the next sort of 7 or 8 hours. So they've obviously all now been cancelled. And there are lots of people. The contact tracing that we're so familiar with here, the contact tracing on the president is going to be so difficult over the next few days. This will have huge implications moving forward. Just a massive event to happen at this stage. I mean, to happen any day of the week. We know other world leaders have been diagnosed. Of course, Boris Johnson, Jair Bolsonaro, who in many ways has been known as the Trump of the tropics. He tested positive. They both overcame it. Both got really sick, though. And as you mentioned, this is a man who is now in his 70s. So there are lots to go through. And everyone's got their fingers crossed that Donald Trump comes through this first and foremost and then moves on to what happens with the election.
And of course, how he's contracted it, we are assuming he has caught it from Hope Hicks, the White House advisor. She tested positive, put herself into quarantine. Earlier today, we heard that the president and the First Lady had isolated themselves, and then they must have used those very quick 15-minute test kits, because we heard very quickly that they'd both tested positive.
That's the Abbott testing kit. Donald Trump has used it by name a number of times. Now, there is a second ring of testing that goes on, so he would have been tested more than once to avoid the chance of false positives or false negatives. But this, is remarkable given the time.
Charles Croucher, thanks for your time this afternoon. Just to repeat that breaking news, US President Donald Trump has tested positive to COVID-19. We will have the full story in the afternoon news at 4 and in 9 News tonight at 6 o'clock. I'm Lizzie Pearl. Thanks for your company.